An instructor rides a stationary bicycle. Figure 9, 1 marketing strategies define and support the product life cycle and brand, such as Peloton's approach to bundling fitness products and online classes. Credit. Modification of work, woman riding exercise bike by Onthagosports. Com. O/sports fanatic Australia/Flickr, CC by 20. Chapter outline. 9.1 Products, services, and experiences. 9.2 Product items, product lines, and product mixes. 9.3 The product life cycle. 9.4 Marketing strategies, at each stage of the product life cycle. 9.5 Branding and brand development. 9.6 Forms of brand development, brand loyalty, and brand metrics. 9.7 Creating value through packaging and labeling. 9.8 Environmental concerns regarding packaging. 9.9 Ethical issues in packaging. Peloton, producer of high-end home fitness equipment and streaming fitness classes, has taken advantage of the tech boom to bundle its products and service for a recurring revenue source. Peloton is known for its expensive at-home fitness bikes and treadmills aimed at a high-end target audience. Once a customer purchases a bike for $500 to $600 and/or a treadmill for $35,001, most fitness companies would not expect additional revenue from a customer for several years. But Peloton sees itself as a technology company that facilitates service. Peloton CEO John Foley has said that we see ourselves more akin to an Apple, a Tesla, or a Nest or a GoPro, where it's a consumer product that has a foundation of sexy hardware technology and sexy software technology. 2, in the case of Peloton, that sexy software technology comes in the form of streaming workout classes including cycling, strength, boot camp, yoga, and meditation, taught by charismatic instructors who have become social media influencers. The price tag for Peloton customers is a recurring $39 monthly fee for all access on top of the cost of the product. Peloton customers are purchasing more than a one-time durable good. Instead, they are buying a networked effect in which they are connected to fitness instructors and one another. Hailed the new form of competitive advantage, networked effects bring customers closer to the brand through personal connections between the brand and customers and between customers. Once a customer is a loyal part of the network, the cost to switch brands in terms of habit and lifestyle is high. As a result, loyal customers are less likely to brand switch and are less price sensitive. While product bundling isn't a new concept, think about a value meal at a restaurant that includes a sandwich, fries, and a beverage. The product-service bundle is an emerging trend among technology companies. It provides recurring revenue for the brand while bringing the customer into a more intimate customer experience, leading to brand loyalty. Typically, the service fees ultimately provide more revenue per customer than the one-time product purchase in this model. The recurring revenue model makes the product facilitate the service exchange, blurring the traditional product-service lines. What examples come to mind when you think of product-service bundles? Do you have a prediction for how this trend may shape product development in the future? Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Differentiate between products, services, and experiences. 2. Describe how consumer and business industrial products are classified. 3. Identify the 4 levels of a product. Products and services defined. When a customer makes a purchase, they expect value from that exchange. Think about what you ate for breakfast today. You paid money to receive a product that satisfied your hunger. Is that all the value you received? Perhaps not. If you ate eggs, bacon, and coffee at a restaurant, you had both a product and a service experience. Maybe someone at the restaurant handed you a menu, took your order, brought your food, refilled your coffee, cleaned up dishes, and collected payment for your meal. The eggs, bacon, and coffee were the product, while the acts of the restaurant staff were a service. And the summation of it all was the product-service experience. Products are tangible items that are part of an exchange between a buyer and seller. Products can be seen, touched, owned, and stored. For example, the computer or tablet you're using to read this textbook is a product. You may have visited a store to see and touch the product before purchasing to ensure it met your needs. Post-purchase, the computer or tablet is yours to own and store for later use as you please. The tangible nature of the product allows the consumer to possess it. Services are intangible solutions that are also an exchange between buyer and seller. Unlike products, services cannot be touched, owned, or stored for later use. For example, a college course on marketing is a service. Students cannot own the course. They cannot store it for later, nor will they have a tangible object representing the course. Another defining feature of a service is the customer is typically a part of the service experience. Imagine buying tickets to your favorite band in concert. You will have to attend the concert to realize the full benefit of the service experience. While a computer is a true product and a marketing class is a true service, many exchanges between buyer and seller fall somewhere in the middle of the product. Service continuum, see Figure 9. 2. Think back to the restaurant breakfast at the top of this section. Restaurants are a prime example of an exchange that includes products and services. Marketers are typically working with an offering that falls on the product, service continuum. This means that they need to understand how to influence consumer behavior in the search for products and services. A horizontal double-sided arrow shows examples along the product-service continuum. The left side of the arrow represents pure product. The right side represents pure service. The example furthest left is food purchased from a store. The example at the center of the continuum is food purchased at a restaurant. The example furthest right is a cooking lesson. Figure 9. 2. The product, service continuum, attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC by 4. 0. License. Customer experience. Customer experience, CX, is the overarching impression that customers have of a brand. Therefore, each touchpoint with a product or service becomes a part of the customer experience. A strong customer experience integrates technology, marketing, sales, and customer service to deliver a strong brand perception. For example, if you have ever visited an Apple store, you probably have experienced one of the most lauded customer experiences there is. From the moment you walk in, you are surrounded by products and transported into a world of technology. Each touchpoint, from the check-in on an iPad to the latest products that are available for use, reinforces the brand through customer experience. Brands with strong customer experience tend to have more loyal customers who become brand advocates. Marketing in practice. Netflix has perfected the customer experience. See Figure 9.3. Using technology as a driver, Netflix predicts its customers' viewing preferences using an algorithm, removing friction from the user experience and making the brand an essential part of its customers' lives. Netflix's use of personalization is common among companies that excel in customer experience. The customer is at the center of the experience that is entirely tailored to them. A screenshot of a Netflix ad. A magnifying glass is held over the word Netflix. Underneath it says "See what's next," "Watch anywhere," "Cancel anytime." Figure 9. 3. The Netflix brand is known for perfecting the streaming business by optimizing usage data to create an individualized and customized user experience. Credit, Netflix logo on the PC monitor, photographed through a magnifying glass by Marco Verch/Flickr, CC by 20. Once users enter the Netflix website, they see an experience that makes their viewing opportunity seamless and flexible. Netflix lets the user know right away that it streams thousands of movies and television shows on various devices. The sign-up involves 3 easy steps, and then the customer is brought into a viewing world built around them. The Netflix algorithm analyzes viewing habits based on a variety of factors, including viewing history, genre or category, time of day watched, how long the user watched, devices currently streaming, rating history for similar content, other Netflix users with similar preferences on the platform. 3. As the algorithm learns more about the viewer, the customer experience improves, becoming essential to customers' lives and building brand loyalty. Classifications of consumer and business products. Product managers classify products first by whether they are consumer products or industrial products. This classification is essential because businesses typically make product purchase decisions to create a consumer good. Meanwhile, consumers are buying products for their personal use. Therefore, this distinction impacts how product managers design, market, and sell products. Consumer products are classified into 4 main categories, see Table 9. 1. Convenience products are products that consumers can purchase easily, quickly, and without a lot of thoughtful decision-making. Convenience product purchases may be habitual in that the consumer buys the same brand each time. In addition, they are typically lower priced and have wide distribution, so they are easily accessible to consumers. Frozen waffles, bar soap, milk, and bathroom cleaners are examples of convenience products. Shopping products require more thought from the consumer. Consumers may research and shop around for shopping products, seeking the best quality or price. Shopping products are typically available at a few retail stores and online, and they may be priced higher than convenience products. Exercise equipment, technology, clothing, and airline tickets are shopping products. Specialty products have unique qualities that consumers will make an extra effort to seek out. The product's unique nature typically means that the consumer will not comparison shop and will spend a significant amount of time and money to procure the product. Luxury cars, rare breeds of saltwater fish, fine art, and jewelry are examples of specialty products. Unsought products are consumer goods that a buyer doesn't anticipate purchasing. As a result, the consumer is often not aware of the product or does not think it is needed. A flat tire that needs repairing, a roof damaged in a storm that needs to be replaced, and funeral services are examples of unsought products. Type of product: price, consumer decision-making process, distribution. Convenience: low. This is a habitual automatic purchase process that involves little comparison shopping. Widespread distribution at several retail outlets. Shopping: low. Mid. There is time spent on the consumer decision-making process and comparison, shopping for price and quality. Selective distribution at retail outlets that match customer and brand type. Specialty: high. Having a specific brand or product in mind means little comparison shopping. Typically, this is a special purchase with a lot of planning. Exclusive distribution at one or a select few retail outlets. Unsought: variable. The consumer is unaware or uninterested, so they exert little thought or comparison shopping. Variable distribution depends on the product. Table 9. 1. Types of products. Classifications of business and industrial products. Businesses purchase products to aid in manufacturing or creating consumer products or services. For example, if you have ever been to a donut shop, you might think about how the bakers produce a donut. The bakers have probably purchased baking equipment, ingredients for the donuts, boxes to package the donuts, and a service to make deliveries. Business and industrial products are classified as follows. Raw materials are the products that a business needs to purchase in order to make a consumer good, such as flour, sugar, and yeast in our donut example. Manufactured materials and parts are products used to create the product. For example, large baking sheets are manufactured materials specific to a bakery and purchased to enable product creation. Capital items are assets that are valuable to the business and have tangible value. For example, our bakery's large ovens would be considered a capital item. Supplies and services are goods and services that are typically disposed of and do not contain a tangible value. For example, the bakery's boxes are part of its supplies to package donuts. The 3 levels of product. In marketing, we often say that consumers do not make rational decisions. This consumer decision-making process ties directly to how we think about products. Therefore, product marketers should ask themselves, what's the problem the consumer is trying to solve? The answer to this question gets to the root of the core product. The core product is what your customer is actually buying. Convenience, ego, ease, flexibility, etc. For example, if you have ever purchased single-use plastic water bottles, you are likely purchasing a core product of convenience. The second level of a product is the actual product. A toaster, a waffle, or a sports car, for example. The actual product includes the product features, brand, level of quality, packaging, and design. The third level of a product is the augmented product. Warranties, customer service, product support, etc. The augmented product is the unseen aspects of the product essential to its service to you. For example, Butterball launches a turkey talk line that provides tips on cooking the perfect Thanksgiving turkey each Thanksgiving. So if you have turkey roasting questions, the talk line is ready and waiting to answer your questions in this augmented product. A hotel might provide concierge services to obtain tickets to events or limousine service dry cleaning services, recommendations for local restaurants, etc. All of these would be augmented services. See Figure 9.4. The three levels of a product are shown as three circles nested inside one another. The circle in the center is core product. How can I solve the customer's problem? The circle in the middle is actual product. What is the offering to solve the problem? And the outermost circle is augmented product. What are the services to supplement the product? Figure 9. 3 levels of a product attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC by 40 license. Careers in marketing. Product marketer. A product marketer, also sometimes known as a product marketing manager, promotes a product and its features to a target market. Learn more about this job role through this article from HubSpot, including a job description, necessary qualifications, and job responsibilities. Also, check out this video from a Google employee about being a product marketer. If this job interests you, check out this article from Indeed that outlines more details, including the typical salary, necessary skills, and education requirements. Or refer to this guide on how to take the next step and get a job in product marketing. Lastly, to start preparing for a job in this role, check out this mock interview for the product marketing manager role. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. Which of the following is the best example of a pure service? Haircut, meal at a restaurant, frozen waffles, sports car. 2. Jorge visited his favorite retailer to find that the store had transformed into a space with product demonstrations, product trials, and technology, which improved his overall perception of the brand. This is called an product, service, experience, advertisement. 3. A package of gum at the checkout of a grocery store is considered an product, convenience, shopping, specialty, unsought. 4. Potbelly sandwich shops use paper bags to hold customers' sandwiches. What type of industrial product is the bag? Raw materials, manufactured materials and parts, capital items, supplies and services. 5. At the beginning of this chapter, we learned about the Peloton brand. Peloton users use not only the physical bike also, but online classes with an instructor to stay fit within their own homes. This need represents the product. Core, actual, augmented, valued learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Define product items, product lines, and product mixes. 2. Describe product line length and depth. 3. Discuss product line filling and product line stretching. Product line length and depth. Companies typically sell many products, some of which are singular, and some of which are part of a larger category of offerings. So let's start with a product item, a particular good that a company sells. For example, Domino's Pizza sells its original hand-tossed pizza as a product item on its menu. A company will also sell a product item as a part of a broader product line. A product line is a set of products that are similar or complementary. For example, Domino's sells crunchy thin, handmade pan, Brooklyn style, and gluten-free crust along with its hand-tossed pizza crust as a part of a product line. A product mix contains all the products that a company sells. In addition to pizza, Domino's sells salads, sandwiches, appetizers, pasta, desserts, and beverages. These products make up the product mix for Domino's, Figure 9.5. There are benefits to brands in organizing into product lines and mixes. For example, if you have ever added a chocolate lava cake to your Domino's order, you know firsthand that products within a mix are easily cross-sold. You may have also seen a commercial where Domino's promotes its product mix, creating efficiencies in its media advertising spend. In addition, breadth of products provides some assurance that competitors will not compete in the same space. Finally, you may have noticed that some appetizers and desserts are packaged in the same box, creating supply efficiencies. On the flip side, if product offerings are too similar, they may cannibalize or steal from the original product, resulting in lower profitability. For example, if Domino's had 30 types of pizzas, the stores might have to stock extra ingredients to make those pizzas. But Domino's might not sell more pizzas as a whole because the product line offerings are too similar. 6 photos show different food products available: pizza, salad, pasta, a sub sandwich, brownies, and breaded chicken wings. Figure 9. 5. A product item, like a pizza from Domino's Pizza, is part of a company's product mix, all of the products it sells. Credit: Saki's Pizza by the Pizzerview/Flickr, CC by 20. Modification of Work Salad by Jackie L. Chan/Flickr, CC by 20. Pasta with Homemade Baguette by Stacy Spenceley/Flickr, CC by 20. I Want Everything on Mine by Jeffreo/Flickr, CC by 20. Modification of Work Chocolate Fudge Brownies by Start Cooking Kathy and Amandine/Flickr, CC by 20. Modification of Work Fast Food Chicken Nuggets by Walt Stoneburner/Flickr, CC by 20. Product line depth and product mix width. Product line depth refers to the number of products in the line. Using our previous example, Domino's carries 5 products in the pizza product line. Meanwhile, the product mix width refers to the number of product lines a brand carries. Domino's offers 7 product lines within its product mix: pizza, salads, sandwiches, appetizers, pasta, desserts, and beverages. The product line depth and product mix width allow a company to diversify its offerings to maximize customer loyalty and mitigate risk. For example, if a customer enjoys Domino's Pizza, they may extend their order to include one of the other offerings in the product mix. On the flip side, if a customer has a bad experience with the pizza, they might try chicken or pasta instead next time. However, it is essential to note that too many offerings can cannibalize one another and drive up the cost of goods sold because of the variations that each product requires. Product line filling and product line stretching. One of the reasons for an ample product line is to leave no room for competitors to solve a customer's need. Companies use a product line filling strategy when they add products to the product line to ensure that competitors do not enter their market. If you wonder why Domino's has so many pizza toppings, consider that it might be product line filling at work. On the other hand, it might make more sense for a company to add product lines. The addition of product lines is a practice called product line stretching. There are 3 main ways to stretch a product line. Stretching downward. A brand introduces a product line that is less expensive than its current offering. This may open a new target market or change a brand's positioning in a competitive market. However, it is essential to consider whether stretching down might shift the brand's perception or take share from other product lines. Tesla introduced its Model 3 following its more expensive Model S, following the stretching downward strategy. 4. Stretching upward. A brand introduces a product line that is more expensive than its current offering. This may increase profitability or reposition the brand. First, however, it is essential to determine whether the brand has equity in the upward market. Godiva introduced its Gold collection to stretch its product line upward. Stretching up and down. A brand can stretch up and down simultaneously. While this has the potential for great rewards, it also introduces a fair amount of risk. Dell utilizes a strategy to stretch up and down with its everyday access laptops, creator laptops, and all the way up to its immersive gaming laptops. Suppose Domino's wanted to join the wood-fired pizza trend. It could employ an upward product line stretching strategy to introduce Domino's to a more upscale market that appreciates wood-fired pizza. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. Oreo's selection of flavors would be considered a product. Product line. Product mix. Product category. 2. A product mix contains a mix of the company's most popular products, a singular product, all the products that a company sells, a group of similar products. 3. If Domino's were to add a Chicago-style stuffed pizza to its menu, this would represent an expansion of its pizza offerings. Product line depth, product mix width, product items, product differentiation. 4. Product line depth refers to product characteristics, the number of product lines, product assortment, the number of products in the product line. 5. Which of the following is a benefit of product line filling? Less money spent on research and development, protection against competitors, creates a product line assortment, stretches the product line. Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Define the product life cycle. 2. List and describe the stages of the product life cycle. The product life cycle. Have you ever wondered what happens after a new product launch? Is the product successful right away, or does it need a little help from marketing to realize its potential? Then, as the product matures, does it stay on the shelf, or does it have a natural endpoint? The product life cycle, see Figure 9.6, maps the stages a product goes through, tracking its sales and profitability. The product life cycle is shown as a line graph. The y-axis is labeled sales and the x-axis is labeled time. Time is divided into 4 parts: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. During the introduction phase, sales are low but increasing. During the growth phase, sales increase quickly. During the maturity phase, sales level out and begin to decline. During the decline phase, sales drop rapidly. Figure 9.6. The product life cycle. Attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC by 40 license. The product life cycle stages. The product life cycle begins in the introduction stage. This is when consumer awareness is building and sales are starting to grow. The marketing investment is high as brands invest heavily in advertising and sales promotion to encourage trial. Profitability is low due to costs to launch and scale a new product. What products can you think of that are in the introduction stage of the product life cycle? Once a product catches on in the marketplace, it enters the growth stage of the product life cycle. The growth stage is characterized by increasing sales and the potential for copycat brands to enter the market once they see revenue and profitability. In addition, products require less marketing and distribution investments during the growth stage, making them more profitable. However, a brand can decide to invest in product improvements and distribution, which may decrease profitability in the short term in exchange for long-term gain. When hoverboards were new to the market, they experienced explosive growth that quickly tapered off. The product enters the maturity stage when sales growth slows and profitability levels taper off. The maturity stage is typically the longest stage of the product life cycle, with products remaining in this stage for years or even decades. Profitability may remain if the brand has a solid competitive advantage or decline if too many competitors enter the market. Marketing investment can increase at this stage if the brand has a rival, and product modification can alter the product to meet consumers' needs. Yet often a brand will retain a low level of marketing during the maturity stage to remind consumers of its benefits. Kraft macaroni and cheese is an example of a product that has a solid place in the market and has stabilized as a mature product. Eventually, most products enter the decline stage. The decline stage is characterized by a significant decrease in sales and profitability. Sometimes the decline occurs because the market has changed. Technology has evolved, consumer tastes have shifted, or the need that the product satisfies is no longer relevant. Other times, the product is pushed out by rising costs or competitors. Many companies report their earnings quarterly and do not want to keep an unprofitable brand in their portfolio. As a result, companies typically try to divest a product in the decline stage. Another company may pick up the brand, invest in it, and bring the product back to a growth or maturity stage. Apple's iPod entered the decline stage when the popular iPhone was introduced, bringing a host of features plus music. It is important to note that products do not always travel through the product life cycle at a linear rate, nor do they all travel through all product life cycle stages. For example, a product can be introduced and never gain traction, so it goes directly from introduction to decline. Or a product might gain popularity rapidly during the growth stage and then meet a quick decline. This phenomenon occurs when products are fads. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. Which of the following is not a stage of the product life cycle? Introduction, growth, maturity, profitability. 2. Which criterion does the product life cycle use? Sales, profitability. A and B. None of these are correct. 3. Which stage of the product life cycle is characterized by a rapid increase in sales? Introduction, growth, maturity, decline. 4. Which stage of the product life cycle is characterized by stable sales and profitability? Introduction, growth, maturity, decline. 5. Which of the following is a reason that brands may not follow the product life cycle sequentially? Brands can grow rapidly. Brands can skip the product life cycle altogether. Brands can be a fad. brands can skip to maturity right away. Learning outcomes by the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Discuss marketing strategies in the introduction stage of the product lifecycle. 2. Classify marketing strategies used in the growth stage of the product lifecycle. 3. Characterize marketing strategies used in the maturity stage of the product lifecycle. 4. Identify marketing strategies used in the decline stage of the product lifecycle. Marketing strategies in the introduction stage. The introduction stage is characterized by awareness building to encourage trial. There is a significant investment in marketing activities at this stage to make the shift from early adopters to a broader audience, and pricing is a means of enticing trial. A rapid skimming strategy sets a high price along with extensive advertising and sales promotion to establish the product in the marketplace. This strategy allows a product to gain share quickly and fend off potential competitors. Technology innovations typically use a rapid skimming strategy to attract early adopters who are willing to pay a higher price. In contrast, a slow skimming strategy may be utilized when there is not an anticipated influx of competitors. The slow skimming strategy sets high prices with low advertising and sales promotion investment. For example, we may see a rapid skimming strategy for the new model of a truck or SUV in the automobile market because competition is high and the barrier to entry is low. On the other hand, the Tesla brand used a slow skimming strategy in its initial launch with a high-priced offering making it exclusive. A rapid penetration pricing strategy is appropriate when volume sales will increase market share quickly, and a lower price strategy is employed. Rapid penetration pricing strategies encourage customers to try a product and switch to a new brand. This strategy works well with product categories with many competitors and price-sensitive customers. For example, Old Navy used a rapid penetration pricing strategy when it opened its stores in 1994 with an $8 jeans promotion under the assumption that if customers tried its jeans, they would be hooked and become brand advocates. In contrast, a slow penetration pricing strategy establishes low prices and low promotion to capture share more slowly in a market that typically does not readily react to promotion. Products that do not have a lot of brand equity and our necessities do not respond to promotion readily and are appropriate for a slow penetration pricing strategy. For example, if a store brand of butter were to establish an everyday low price without the use of promotion, it would be adopting a slow penetration pricing strategy. Marketing strategies in the growth stage. The growth stage is characterized by growing sales and increasing competition in the marketplace. Investment in product and place is essential at the growth stage to maximize market share and scale quickly. Brands may improve product quality or add new features in the growth stage based on early lessons from the introduction stage and to fend off competitors. Products with a first-mover advantage may find competitors who replicate their products entering the market, so product improvement is essential. For example, OXO is a brand that uses universal design to innovate products to make them easier to use. This continuous product improvement makes it a leader in the kitchenware market. Once a product becomes mainstream in the growth stage, expanding distribution channels can increase market share. While expanded distribution adds expense, it also brings the product to more customers in various settings. For example, Chicago-based Home Run Inn Pizza was so famous in the restaurant format that it expanded to grocery stores to increase share. Finally, brands use promotion to shift their message from awareness to preference. The shift from a niche market to a mass market typically involves an advertising investment. In 2021, TikTok moved from awareness to preference, and its promotion followed suit, reminding users why they enjoy using the platform. Marketing strategies in the maturity stage. Stability characterizes the maturity stage: profits, customers, and pricing. While this sounds like good news, brands must defend their market share from increasing product replication and product innovation from competitors. Products in the maturity stage may engage in market modification, an extension of the product to new customers. For example, Cheerios adopted a market modification strategy when it positioned its cereal to the aging baby boomer demographic as a heart-healthy breakfast. This strategy opened a new market for Cheerios to increase its market share. Products in the maturity stage may also engage in product modification, altering products to fit the market. Modifications may be made to the function of the product, the quality of the product, and/or the style of the product. For example, Chobani modified its yogurt product in 2015 by altering the container, allowing the customer to flip toppings into yogurt and changing the functionality of the yogurt and topping product. 5 marketing strategies in the decline stage. The decline stage of the product life cycle is characterized by declining sales and profitability. The product is at the end of its life cycle and is no longer sustainable or a good investment. Brands reduce to a core set of activities and set out to divest the brand asset. A brand might divest a product to protect the rest of its portfolio, either by selling the brand or discontinuing it. For example, the Coca-Cola brand divested New Coke in 2002 after 17 years on the market in various forms. 6. The product was taken off the shelves because it was unsuccessful in the marketplace. A brand might also choose to harvest an unsuccessful product. Harvesting involves reducing all unnecessary expenses to retain any remaining revenue. In addition, harvesting allows the brand to invest cash in its more profitable products. Typically, products do not reemerge after harvesting and more often are divested over time. Technology products, such as smartphones, are often harvested as their up-to-date replacements hit the market. Refurbished products may be sold at a discount or used for parts for new models. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. Mohammed's Shoe Company is expanding distribution for its most popular shoe line. The shoe line is in the stage of the product life cycle. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline 2. Gia has established a rapid skimming strategy for her ice cream shop. The ice cream shop is in the stage of the product life cycle. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline 3. Carlos has ceased all non-essential spending for his computer repair business. The computer repair business is in the stage of the product life cycle. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline 4. LaToya has found a new market for her restaurant by expanding to catering. The restaurant is in the stage of the product life cycle. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline 5. Jamie's legal business has had some early success and decided to add estate planning to its business portfolio. The legal business is in the stage of the product life cycle. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Define branding and discuss its benefits. 2. Discuss ways in which an organization can build strong brands. Branding. A brand is an intangible asset with tangible value. We cannot see, touch, or put a brand on a balance sheet. Rather, a brand is a feeling that is made up of the organization's promotion efforts along with consumer meaning. The value of a brand is challenging to measure, but it is often the most valuable part of a company. Think about the Harley-Davidson brand, see Figure 9.7. What images and feelings does it evoke? Those images and feelings are its brand, and companies spend a lot of resources developing and nurturing their brands. The brand is the reason that customers purchase and advocate. A brand is the feeling associated with a product or service that gives it currency in the marketplace. The brand is the essence of the product or service and must be reinforced at every touchpoint. The marketing team at Harley-Davidson knows this all too well. Brand is Harley's business, and the company knows that every product, every promotion, and every event must reinforce the brand, which will build value over time to become a significant asset. A close-up of the Harley-Davidson logo. Figure 9.7. A brand like Harley-Davidson is an intangible and valuable asset whose tangible value to a company is created by an organization's promotional efforts. Credit: Harley-Davidson by InformedMag. com/Flickr. CC by 2. Branding is the process of developing a brand. Successful brands engage their customers on a personal level, connecting to their emotions and needs. Some of the assets of a brand, such as the brand name, brand mark, or brand positioning, can be influential in creating a feeling about a brand. Link to learning logos. Visit the Harley-Davidson website for more logo examples. While looking at the logos, think about its name. What emotions are associated with the brand name and mark? While marketing teams can influence how a brand is seen in the marketplace, consumers often define the brand. Did you know that the colors used in logos have meaning? This website shares a handful of stories behind the colors of famous logos. Brands are created experiences that are shared among most loyal customers. Harley-Davidson customers experience the brand together through events and organized rides, creating brand meaning and contributing to the overall feeling. Benefits of branding. The central benefit of branding is establishing a connection with customers that encourages them to purchase the brand, creating a financial return. But you may be wondering how companies can measure the impact of their brand. Brand value is the financial asset associated with a brand. Brand valuation occurs when a company is sold and becomes a part of the financial transaction, along with the assets and liabilities on the company's financial statements. There is no singular measure of brand value, so the valuation process is subjective and may be based on brand visibility, customer loyalty, and perception of the brand, along with financial measures such as revenue. Brand equity is the additional value that a brand has over a substitute. If a consumer will pay more for one similar product over another because of the brand, that difference represents its brand equity. For example, Tide, owned by Procter & Gamble, is the market leader in the laundry space. 7. While its product may not differ significantly from its competitors, Tide demands a higher price because of its brand equity. The brand equity measure is the amount that a brand with equity can charge over its counterparts. Take a moment and look up the price of Tide and a few competitors. What does that tell you about Tide's brand equity? Kevin Lane Keller developed the brand equity model to illustrate how brands can develop equity. He postulated that if a brand could develop positive associations, it could charge more than its competitors. The model begins with defining a brand through its identity. Brands should answer the question, who are you and how do you solve the consumer's needs? The next level of the model determines a brand's meaning. On one hand, how well does the brand perform, and on the other, how does it meet consumers' social and psychological needs? The third level of the framework is about feelings and thoughts. In other words, what do consumers think of your brand and what judgments do they make about it? Finally, the top of the pyramid examines brand resonance, or how much connection, engagement, or loyalty the brand has with its consumers. 8. Link to learning Keller's brand equity model. Keller's brand equity model is a prevailing framework that scholars use to think about the concept of brand equity. Check out this article to learn more about the model and how you could apply it to a brand. Building strong brands. If a brand is a combination of the efforts made by the marketing team and how consumers think, feel, and act, then there is some room for the marketing team to build a strong brand. A strong brand is resonant in the minds of consumers and solves their problems. Building a strong brand begins with brand positioning, or the way the brand signals emotions in consumers' minds. Brands can position themselves based on an attribute, one aspect of the product or service. For example, Taco Bell has positioned itself as the option for late-night cravings. This singular aspect defines its positioning. The problem with positioning based on an attribute is that it is easily replicable by competitors. The second method of positioning is benefiting the consumer, how the product or service solves the consumer's problem. For example, the Eggo brand's positioning is convenience. The brand solves the consumer's morning rush issue by providing a convenient breakfast solution. The benefits positioning works well for convenience products. Lastly, a brand can position itself based on values. Values-based positioning is the most robust brand positioning because it links to a consumer's personal beliefs. For example, Ford uses the language "Built Ford Tough" in its advertising to connect to American values of hard work and determination. Ford's strategy is particularly effective because brands can connect to consumers' sense of self and how they show up to the world. A product's brand name also clues consumers into feelings, thoughts, and attitudes. Therefore, marketing teams spend a lot of time selecting brand names that evoke a feeling harmonious with the brand. A strong brand name also helps consumers see the benefit of the brand. For example, a favorite of many, Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats, tells the consumer that they are eating something made of wheat with a touch of sugar. A brand name should also translate effectively into a variety of languages. Finally, a brand name should be unique to that product. For example, we all know that the brand Pop-Tarts is a toaster pastry that pops out of a toaster. This is a distinctive element of the Pop-Tarts brand that is exemplified by its name. Brands use trademarks, service marks, to ensure that they are protected under the law. According to the United States Patent and Trademark Office, a trademark can be any word, phrase, symbol, design, or a combination of these things that identified your goods and services. 9 brands can trademark their names, logos, packaging, or even specific colors that represent the brand. This ensures that competitors do not replicate a known brand and cause confusion among customers. You will know that a brand is trademarked if you see a TM or R near the name or logo. Take a peek in your pantry to view trademarks on food packaging. Brands can be owned in one of 4 ways: national brand, private brand, licensed brand, or co-brand. Each has its unique set of advantages and disadvantages, which will be discussed in this section. National brands are the name brands that sell a product or service under its corporate name and identity. Brands like Heinz, Smartwater, and Morton's Salt are examples of name brands. Brand equity commands higher prices, so national brands typically charge higher prices than their private brand counterparts. National brands often pay for premium retail space, making them a convenient choice for shoppers. However, price-sensitive shoppers may be turned off by the higher prices of national brands. Private label brands are store brands that are similar products to a national brand and labeled privately. If you have shopped at a Walgreens, you may have seen its private label brand of products that begin with the prefix WAL. A McKinsey study indicates that price accounted for 45% of brand switchers from national to private brands, while lack of availability was a secondary reason. 10. The same study suggests that customers can develop loyalty to private label brands. However, the private label brand must create a point of differentiation relevant to the target audience in the same way that a national brand would. Licensed brands provide the likeness of their brand as a fee for use. If you wear eyeglasses, you likely have a licensed brand name on your eyeglasses frame. Brands like Tiffany & Co., Kate Spade, and Tommy Hilfiger do not produce eyeglasses frames. Rather, they license their brand to manufacturers like Luxottica, an Italian eyewear company that makes the product with the licensed brand name. Licensing a brand is a quick way to gain recognition and benefit from the brand's equity. On the other hand, licensing fees can be costly and ultimately reduce profitability for manufacturers. Finally, 2 or more brands may collaborate to co-brand a product. Co-branding brings the equity of each brand together for greater value. For example, Doritos and Taco Bell developed Doritos Locos Tacos, a co-branded line of tacos that feature Doritos as the shell and Taco Bell ingredients as the toppings. In this case, the 2 brands had a similar target audience and could benefit from the awareness and equity of the other. However, co-branding necessitates a revenue split, which could impact financial results for each brand. Table 9. 2 lists the advantages and brand type. Advantages, disadvantages, national brands well known by consumers. Okay to charge more, some consumers unwilling to pay more than for private label brands, private brands, attract price-sensitive customers, more difficult to build brand equity, licensed brands, gain brand recognition, and benefit from brand equity, expensive licensing fees, co-brands, benefit from the equity of both brands, revenue split between 2 or more brands. Table 9. 2 types of brands. Advantages and disadvantages, marketing and practice. Trader Joe's. Most of us do not love our weekly grocery shopping trip. Aisles upon aisles of boxes, cans, and cartons lining shelves create monotony in shopping for the food that nourishes us. We have trudged through supermarkets, pilling items into our carts uninspired, until Trader Joe's entered the scene. Trader Joe's has taken the drudgery of grocery shopping and created a customer experience. Using the tenets of the Blue Ocean strategy, Trader Joe's removed the costly parts of the traditional grocery store, such as a large footprint and overwhelming stock, that do not add to the customer experience. And it added Hawaiian shirts, friendly employees, interesting food selections, and a much smaller store. The result is a true neighborhood store that is so popular that Trader Joe's fan groups have popped up all over the internet, and the cult brand has continued growth since its inception. So what's the magic in creating an experience out of what used to be a chore? Trader Joe's looked at the customer experience from beginning to end to determine what its shopper values and what can go by the wayside. Trader Joe's prioritized building its culture through empowering its crew members. Employees at Trader Joe's are interviewed for enthusiasm and cross-trained throughout the store's operations. 11 crew members are Trader Joe's fans themselves and are known for giving recommendations to customers and are empowered to connect with the customers, adding to the neighborhood feel of the store. The food at Trader Joe's is interesting to the shopper, much of it convenient and ready to eat. Trader Joe's leverages social media to put its food front and center with recipes and easy-to-prepare pairings. Trader Joe's thinks about the in-store experience and stocks about 10% of the food of a normal supermarket 12 making choices easier on the customer. Link to Learning Interbrands, Best Global Brands Interbrand, ranks the best global brands annually. Take a look at the Interbrand website to see which brands make the top 100 and consider what attributes led them to the top of the list. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. Which of the following is a benefit of a brand? Consumers always choose name brands. Brands can command higher prices. Shareholders demand strong brands. Every company must have a brand. 2. Which of the following describes the financial asset associated with a brand? Brand price, brand name, brand equity, brand value. 3. Which of the following is not a means of brand positioning? Value, benefits, brand equity, attributes. 4. The Whole Foods 365 brand is an example of a national brand, private brand, licensed brand, co-brand. 5. Uber and Spotify teamed up to bring custom playlists to Uber rides. This is an example of a national brand, private brand, licensed brand, co-brand. Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Identify branding strategies. 2. Describe degrees of brand loyalty. 3. Discuss metrics that can be used to measure brand strength and value. Brand development. New products can be added to a brand at any time. There are a few ways to add products that are classified on 2 measures: new existing brand name and new existing product category. See Figure 9. 8. The brand development matrix defines products added to a new brand. It is divided into 4 boxes. The left is labeled brand name, while the top is labeled product category. Each of these is divided into existing and new sections. A line extension is what occurs with an existing brand name and an existing product category. A brand extension is what occurs with an existing brand name but a new product category. Multi-brands occurs with a new brand name and an existing product category. And new brands occur with a new brand name and a new product category. Figure 9, 8 brand development matrix, attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC by 40 license. Line extensions create new opportunities for an existing product and brand to serve customers. For example, the Oreo brand adds flavors to its product line for holidays. These line extensions provide the existing brand with an extension of its current product. As a result, a line extension may sell more products to already aware and interested customers without many risks. However, sometimes brands may overextend their product lines and products may be too similar, failing to increase sales. Brand extensions leverage the brand name to new product categories. For example, Starbucks developed a line of bottled coffees under its corporate brand name. A brand extension uses awareness and equity in the brand to gain instant recognition and affinity for the new product, which may increase sales rapidly. However, if the new product is inferior to the brand's known quality, the entire brand portfolio may be at risk. Multi-brands are new brand names within a company's existing product category. For example, Nabisco manufactures various cookies within a product line, but is marketed with different brand names. In this case, Chips Ahoy, Oreo, and Teddy Grahams all have brand equity on their own and do not need the benefit of the Nabisco brand. Each of these brands has a significant market share, so there is a benefit to retaining a multi-branding approach. However, A multi-branding approach does not work when the products have a small market share or fail to gain favorable retail shelf space to encourage sales. New brands are an entirely different entity from the parent company. A new brand strategy can be effective if the new product or service is markedly different from the existing offering and benefits from its own branding. For example, the Starbucks brand owns Ethos Water. Ethos is in a beverage category other than Starbucks's primary offering and retains its name. A new brand strategy works well when the new brand is distinct from the parent brand and has a defined target market and positioning. However, a marketing strategy for a new brand can be expensive to maintain over time. Brand loyalty levels, as you can see, brands spend time and resources to gain loyal customers. Loyal customers are the holy grail of marketing because they will purchase your brand and advocate for the brand to others. Loyal customers become instant word of mouth, spreading the positive attributes of a brand. However, not all customers are intensely loyal to one brand. Instead, customers fit into one of 4 loyalty categories. See Figure 9.9. Loyalty categories are shown in a triangle divided horizontally. As you move up the triangle, the amount of customers represented gets smaller. Started at the bottom of the triangle, the different types of customers are switchers, shifting loyals, split loyals, and hardcore loyals. Figure 9. 9 loyalty categories. Attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC by 40 license. Switchers are customers who continually change their purchasing behaviors. Switchers may be motivated by price, convenience, or innovation. Therefore, it is essential to develop a product or service that meets the switching consumers' needs to retain them as customers. For example, a switcher might purchase the lowest price laundry detergent each time they are at the store. Shifting loyals are customers who are loyal to one product or service for a time, then turn their loyalty to a different product or service for the second period. Brands can expect that shifting loyal customers will move back and forth between products and services. For example, a shifting loyal might purchase a Toyota followed by a Honda, then turn their loyalty back to Toyota for a third purchase. Split loyals are customers who have a consideration set of 2 to 3 products or services in the category. The split loyal is willing to buy this select set of brands on any occasion without hardcore loyalty to any in the group. However, brands can convert split loyals into hardcore loyals with product service consistency, loyalty programs, and marketing efforts. For example, customers may have loyalty to Gap, Banana Republic, and J. Crew for workwear. Hardcore loyals are the customers that every brand wants. They are tried-and-true customers who will generally only purchase one brand in a category. For example, when purchasing from a catalog, they tend to make a purchase with less concern about price. In addition, hardcore loyals often tell friends and family about their purchases, extending word-of-mouth marketing for the brand. Brands need to retain hardcore loyal customers. For example, Dunkin' knows that loyalty is essential to its business, so it rewards its loyal customers with free food and coffee through its DD Perks program. Metrics to measure brand effectiveness. Brand sentiment is challenging to measure. Unlike sales or revenue, sentiment is not easily quantifiable. However, brands must measure their effectiveness because organizations invest heavily in building brands. There are 3 ways to quantify a brand's impact: brand lift, brand engagement, and brand preference. Brand lift measures perception over time. To determine whether the campaign improved perceptions, brands can survey customers and non-customers about their perception of a brand pre-campaign and again post-campaign. Keep in mind that positive perception doesn't necessarily mean that people will make a purchase. It simply indicates a positive affect toward the brand. Brand engagement measures how deeply the customer identifies emotionally with a brand. Deeply engaged customers typically make more purchases, advocate for the brand, and become loyal customers. Social media metrics, time spent on site, subscriptions, and bounce rate are ways to measure brand engagement. Brand preference measures consumer behavior by determining the degree to which a brand is preferred over others in the category. Brand preference is the most accurate of the 3 measures in predicting sales, as its focus is on behavior over attitudes. Marketing research is the best way to assess brand preference. Marketing dashboard profit margins are a widely used financial measure to determine the profitability of a business. Considering the cost to manufacture and sell a product or service, and measuring how much of every dollar in sales or services your company keeps from its earnings. Cost of goods sold, or COGS, describes expenses directly attributable to the product or service. It is important to deduct COGS from profitability to fully understand how much direct costs impact profitability. However, expenses don't end once manufacturing costs are considered. Companies pay for overhead, such as office space, trucks, and warehouses. They also account for depreciation on their assets, pay taxes, and incur costs for employee salaries. All of these expenses chip away at profitability. Profit margin calculates profitability after expenses. There are two types of profit margin on an income statement: gross profit and net profit. Gross profit margin equates to net sales minus the cost of goods sold. The gross margin shows the amount of profit made before deducting selling, general, and administrative (SG&A) costs. The formula for gross profit margin is gross profit margin equals net sales minus COGS. Net sales times 100, the calculation is expressed as a percentage. Net profit margin takes the calculation one step further. It deducts all expenses from profitability, including administrative, sales, amortization, debt payments, taxes, income, and asset depreciation. This provides a more accurate look at profitability because it considers all the costs associated with producing and selling the product or service. The formula for net profit margin is net profit margin equals revenue minus COGS minus other taxes and expenses. Revenue times 100, the calculation is expressed as a percentage. Suppose your sandwich shop is interested in its profit margins for a single order. Look at the chart and calculate the gross and net profit margins. Total revenue $6, $25 COGS $3, $50 administrative, sales $0, $75 taxes, depreciation, debt payments, amortization $0, $50 table 9. 3, which measure is more accurate. Your business partner, Priya, wants to decrease the revenue of a single order to $5. $50. How will that impact your profit margins? Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. One Domino's Pizza recently added sandwiches to its menu. This is an example of a line extension, brand extension, multi-brand, new brand too. The North Face adds a new parka to its line of North Face branded winter coats. This is an example of a line extension, brand extension, multi-brand, new brand 3. Bethany purchases a different bar soap every time she shops based on what is on sale. Bethany can be considered a switcher shifting, loyal split, loyal hardcore, loyal 4. Jorge only purchases Apple computers and will not accept a substitute. Jorge can be considered a switcher shifting, loyal split, loyal hardcore, loyal 5. Which of the following brand metrics measures intended behavior? Brand lift, brand engagement, brand preference, brand equity. Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Describe how an organization creates value through packaging and labeling. 2. Explain how packaging is used as a marketing tool. Creating value through packaging and labeling. If you have ever purchased from Apple, you know the power of sleek packaging. Apple is known for its simple white design, packaging with metallic logos. Products are visually appealing in their packages, and unboxing an Apple product feels like an experience. Apple's packaging is as innovative as its products, which brings us to an important lesson in packaging. The package and label must represent the brand effectively. See Figure 910. While not one of the 4 Ps of marketing, packaging is an important element of the marketing mix based on its close tie to the product. Packaging is also a critical shopper marketing tool as related to place. And certainly, effective packaging can be its own form of promotion. The box for an iPad Pro is behind the box for an iPencil. Figure 9. 10 product packaging can be a powerful promotional tool because of its close product connection, as demonstrated by Apple packaging. Credit, iPad Pro and Apple Pencil by Brett Jordan/Flickr, CC by 20. A package essentially serves as a container for the product. It has a functional purpose to protect the product from harm. Package designers are first and foremost concerned with protecting the product and secondarily with designing an appealing package and label that piques interest on store shelves and online retailers' websites. There are a variety of benefits to effective packaging and labeling. The first is that consumers see packaging before seeing a product. This provides a sensory experience that can influence a purchase. Colors, fonts, and logos can appeal to the eye, while packaging material can appeal to the sense of touch. These clues give a customer a sense of what to expect inside the package. Additionally, the package reflects the brand, cueing the customer into the brand feeling. For example, La Croix is flavored carbonated water sold in brightly colored cans. The cans, as seen below, attempt to make the customer feel the excitement of opening a tasty carbonated beverage. See Figure 911. A La Croix can is in front of blooming white and pink flowers. The La Croix can is bright yellow and pink with bright blue letters. Figure 9:11. The La Croix can is a product container that reflects the brand and creates a feeling of fun and excitement for the customer. Credit: Grapefruit La Croix plus flowers by www.quotecatalog.com/quote/inspirational/flickr. CC by 2. The functional benefits of packaging are numerous. First, a package serves to store the product to protect it from harm in transit from manufacturer to customer. Items such as foam and cardboard shield the product from damage and keep it clean. Second, packaging can also serve as convenience and safety for customers to carry items and store them in the home. For example, Tide Pods are sold in a plastic container with a child-locked lid. This packaging is convenient for customers to safely store the pods in their home. Third, packaging can aid in the product's usability or become a part of the product experience itself. For example, drinkable yogurt is sold in small bottles. The bottles become part of the product experience when a consumer takes a sip of the yogurt. Fourth, packaging and labeling can aid in a brand's compliance with the law. For example, the Federal Trade Commission Act of 1914 stipulates that false, misleading, or deceptive labels or packaging may be upheld as unfair competition. 13. Thus, packaging and labeling allow a brand to be clear, accurate, and transparent in communication with customers. Packaging can also have perceptual benefits to customers as they seek to associate with brands. Brand packaging containing logos might indicate status of the customer or signal the customer's values pertaining to quality. Tiffany & Co. is known for its Little Blue Box, a package that indicates status and a quality product inside. See Figure 9:12. The blue color of the box is a copyrighted by Tiffany as part of its brand's intellectual property. 14. Two small blue Tiffany's boxes are next to each other on a table. The box on the left is turned on its side, so the Tiffany & Co. label is visible. Figure 9:12. Known for its distinctive shade of blue, Tiffany's Little Blue Box shares the company's brand value with consumers via a perceptual connection. Credit: Tiffany & Co. Boxes by Ajay Suresh/Flickr. CC by 2. Packaging used as a marketing tool. Packaging can be used to differentiate a brand, either through design or functionality. For example, beautifully designed packages, such as Tiffany's Little Blue Box, differentiate the brand through its status. Meanwhile, functional packaging, such as potato chip bags filled with air, serves as differentiation to deliver uncrushed chips. Packaging can also create a customer experience. Unboxing a product can contribute to the positive emotions associated with a brand. Artisans who sell goods on Etsy understand packaging as a contributor to customer experience. Artisans will often take special care to package goods beautifully with a handwritten note of gratitude. Personalization and packaging make Etsy customers feel involved in an experience. Packaging can display the value of a product. A well-designed, attractive package demonstrates value instead of a package that frustrates a consumer. For example, American Girl dolls are packaged in a box with a window to show the doll's face and serve as a keepsake for the owner. The packaging is so popular that some collectors purchase the package without a doll. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. How can a brand capture attention with packaging? Location in store supply, chain colors, fonts, and logos, printing the price on the package too. Which of the following functional benefits of packaging is at play when the package becomes a part of the product? Storage, convenience, safety, usability. 3. Which of the following functional benefits of packaging is at play when the package protects the customer from personal harm? Storage, convenience, safety, usability. 4. Maria purchased a Louis Vuitton purse for her mom because of the dust cover that protects the purse from wear and tear. This is an example of packaging used as a marketing tool for brand differentiation, creating customer experience, displaying value, encouraging people to purchase. 5. The brand team at a technology company created product packaging that was enjoyable to unbox. This is an example of packaging used as a marketing tool for brand differentiation, creating customer experience, displaying value, encouraging people to purchase. Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Describe environmental concerns with respect to product packaging. 2. Discuss strategies that are being used to address environmental concerns. Environmental concerns in product packaging. Consumers are increasingly concerned about the environmental impact of packaging and its contribution to waste. A study by McKinsey indicates that more than half of U.S. consumers are highly concerned about the impact of product packaging. While it is not a top criterion for purchase, product packaging is a consideration among consumers. Furthermore, consumers are willing to purchase products that have green packaging, such as recycled plastics and fiber-based substitutes. 15. Groceries are typically packaged in glass, cardboard, plastic, and metal cans. Single-serve plastics are a concern when used for groceries, as they cannot be recycled. Electronics and other fragile products may be packaged with cardboard and foam, which can find their way into landfills. In addition to the energy used to manufacture the product, packaging adds to the environmental burden. Discarded product packaging can be found in landfills, as street litter, and in water sources, harming the environment. Creation of product packaging depletes critical resources, such as trees, and adds to air pollution. Link to learning how much plastic floats in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Check out this website that describes the impact of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Think about the impact that packaging has on the environment and what you can do to reduce your personal plastic waste. Companies are innovating on packaging to make it sustainable. As you may see at a restaurant like Chipotle, brands are adopting more fiber-based packaging and compostable and recyclable options. See Figure 913. A meal from Chipotle is on a table. The tortilla chips are packaged in a brown paper bag, while the burrito and carnitas bowl are in cardboard bowls. The tinfoil that the burrito had been wrapped in is off to the side. Figure 913. Chipotle's commitment to the environment through sustainable packaging and reuse is a strong part of its brand. Credit: Quesadilla Steak Burrito plus Carnitas Bowl by punctuated/flicker, CC by 2. 0 companies are also looking at ways to reduce packaging to only its necessary components. Boxed Water is Better has adopted a cardboard box for its water that is 75% paper and 100% recyclable. See Figure 914. The packaging is free of BPA and other chemicals. The paper is ethically sourced and shipped flat to reduce the amount of space in a truck, further reducing the company's carbon footprint. 16. A photograph of 4 cartons of boxed water is better. 3 boxes are next to each other in a row, while the 4th box is lying horizontally on top. The Boxed Water is Better logo takes up most of the space on each carton. Figure 914. Boxed Water is Better makes sustainable packaging decisions in order to be environmentally responsible. Credit: Boxed Water complete with an expiry date. Meanwhile, there's a drought in California by Shill/Flicker, CC by 2. Cradle-to-cradle packaging design takes the waste out of the life cycle of a package. The package is designed to be something that can be reused or 100% recycled. It is meant to imitate nature's processes by being regenerative. A cradle-to-cradle approach uses renewable energy and keeps parts of the biological world within the biological world. In a similar way, some consumer goods flow in a technical cycle so that the material resources can be generated into new products. See Figure 915. The cradle-to-cradle approach is shown in 2 circles that depict the recycling approach for biological products and technology products, with each process step shown in a smaller circle pointing to the next circle. The biological recycling process starts with natural resources, then moves on to the biological production of goods, the product, customer use, biodegradation, and biological nutrients that are then turned back to natural resources. The technical cycle begins with technical nutrients, technical bits and pieces that move on to the production of goods, the product, customer use, customer return, and disassembly, which then leads back to technical nutrients. Figure 9. 15. The cradle-to-cradle approach, attribution. Copyright Rice University, OpenStax, under CC BY 40 license. E-commerce introduces an additional challenge. How can companies sustainably ship single products to a customer? Companies must consider protecting the item, efficiency, cost, and sustainability in their e-commerce packaging. Companies can reduce packaging and use recycled or recyclable materials in their packaging. Additionally, companies can provide return-ready packaging, so packages that need to be returned to the manufacturer are the same packages that arrive with the product. Knowledge check. It's time to check your knowledge on the concepts presented in this section. Refer to the answer key at the end of the book for feedback. 1. Which of the following is not a type of grocery product packaging? Paper, plastic, metal, wood. 2. Which of the following is not part of the technical cycle? Product, use, disassembly, natural resources. 3. Which of the following is a trend in sustainable packaging? Increasing the amount of packaging using boxes, using only necessary resources, using plastic. 4. Where can discarded packaging be found? Water sources, landfills, on the ground. All of these are correct. 5. Which part of the cradle-to-cradle approach is regenerative? Production, product, use, biodegradation. Learning outcomes. By the end of this section, you will be able to 1. Explain ethical issues with respect to product packaging. 2. Discuss product safety and ethical packaging trends. The importance of ethics in product packaging. In addition to concerns about sustainability, marketing professionals must be mindful of ethical concerns regarding packaging. Remember, a consumer can see the package on the store shelf, not the product inside. The customer is seeking guidance, explanation, and assurance of a product's quality from the packaging. The package must not mislead customers about the size, quality, ingredients, or health claims. The graphics on a package must also properly represent the product inside. For example, a package might display a photo of a product that is larger or more substantial than the product inside, leading the consumer to erroneously believe that the product matches the photo. Product packaging should be effective in protecting the product. Therefore, brands have a responsibility beyond sustainability to design packaging that ensures that the product survives transport from the manufacturer to the wholesaler, to the retailer, and finally home with the customer. Think about the last time you purchased eggs at the grocery store. The eggs are quite fragile, but they are packaged in such a way that minimizes damage as the container travels from the farm to your home. It would be unethical for a brand to reduce packaging to save money and leave the consumer with a damaged product. Additionally, product packaging informs the customer of important safety issues. For example, a package with small parts might have a warning that it is a choking hazard for children under the age of 3. Companies must consider groups beyond their customers. Government, advocacy groups, and NGOs may influence ethical packaging. Some experts predict that ethical packaging will become a legal mandate, so brands have an incentive to think about packaging today and prepare for a more sustainable future.